Were you ever suspicious of record companies or management?
No. I was always of the fact that we should get signed to the biggest record label, whoever they are, get the most money as possible. I was very confident in our band. I was very confident in the songs that I was writing, and I thought the record label and what they can give to us is really irrelevant, because once it's out there, and it'll be unstoppable. I believed that. I believed it. Everybody else said the words, but I actually believed it. When 93 and 94, and I said we were going to be the biggest band in the world, people did kind of go, wow, you know. I was absolutely 100% positive that it was going to happen.
Was it a complication that either of you could have sung those songs?
No, I couldn't sing then.
Right.
I wasn't interested. I started to sing by default because Liam, you know, was a bit erratic in his timekeeping sometimes. I'll put it like that nicely, you know. And I'd sing the odd B-side, and I gradually grew into it, and then gradually began to love it, you know. And then towards the end of Oasis, round about, you know, 2005 time, became good at it. It took me a long time, but I found my voice, you know what I mean? And it wasn't something that came naturally to me, or it wasn't an obsession with mine. It was just I did it because, you know, Liam needed a break for some reason, and you know, halfway through the gig, rest my voice, you know, like Pavarotti. And although he wasn't going to the side and gargling honey and lemon, he was having a cigar or something, smoking a pipe. But yeah, it's kind of something that just kind of crept up on me. But yeah, I like it. It's a great thing to sing. Amazing.
Another huge stage in the story, as you know, was the whole Blur versus Oasis thing. Was that manufactured by journalists and PR people, or was it genuine for you?
In honesty, and the truth is this, it was manufactured by the NME and people in Blur's camp who moved their single to coincide with ours. And what really annoyed us at the time is everybody blamed it on us because we were kind of seen as media manipulators. That's what annoyed me at the time. Looking back on it now, it was brilliant. It's kind of things like that don't happen anymore. It was on News at 10 and all that kind of thing, you know what I mean? And it was great. The episode of the band slagging each other off is quite unnecessary because we all kind of had a certain amount of respect for each other, do you know what I mean? And I guess we were all too drunk or too high to say otherwise, you know what I mean? But when I make no bones about it, I revelled in the fact of slagging other bands off, you know. It
was built up by a lot of people into a class thing, that Oasis, working class versus Blur, middle class. It was even, there were whole articles saying that whether you preferred one band or the other, reveal what class you were.
Look, it was
were you ever into all that? The class
warfare. I might have been a bit more militant when I was on the dole. Not really. But with that whole Blur Oasis thing, it was the media's wet dream. You know, it was like, it couldn't be any more contrasting. There's these lot from Manchester, and there's these lot from Colchester, and they went to art school, and they were robbing shit, you know, and it's kind of like, they both got singles. I mean, we all sold a lot of records and became wealthy off the back of it, so I'm not moaning about it now. But I've met Damon recently, a couple of months ago, and I hadn't seen him for years and years, maybe 15 years, you know. And we literally bumped into each other in a nightclub, and we had a beer, and we kind of had a bit of a laugh about it, and was like, wasn't it fucking, it was great, wasn't it? You know. And we were bemoaning the state of music now, and now, you know, things like that don't get on the News at 10 anymore.
You've been quite open, and you've mentioned in this interview that you were out of your head for quite a bit of the 90s. Is that inevitable because it happens to so many people in the rock business?
Part of the game. It's part of the game. I don't want to, you shouldn't glorify it, because evidently people get messed up. Do you know what I mean? But it's part of the game, and it was part of the game that I was more than willing to get involved in. Free drugs. Free. You don't even have to pay for them.
Do you regret it at all?
No, because I came out the other side. But you know, I was wise enough to come out the other end and just, once I'd done it all, it's like, this is bullshit. I'm glad I did it, but I'm glad I don't do it as well, you know what I mean?
One of the things which is one of your jobs was to predict, in effect, what the hits would be, that you have these songs and you have the album, what the single will be. Did you generally know? I mean, did you have an instinct for that?
I lost it for a while, yeah. I'm good at it now. I'm good at it now. I would...
But Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, you knew basically that those were...
Yeah. Yeah, I know enough about music, and I've got enough records and read enough music magazines, and I was obsessed about it enough from the age of 13, whatever it was, to know when I wrote that song, Live Forever, I knew that in the canon of songs, not just mine, in anybody's, that's a great song. And I'm big-headed enough to say it as well, do you know what I mean? Because it's a fact. And Wonderwall and Don't Look Back in Anger and all the other #1 singles, yeah. For a while, I'd lost interest in it around about the time of between Be Here Now and Standing on the Shoulder of Giants. I was in a different place with it. I'd kind of, my passion for music had gone somewhat, and I was kind of in a different place. I wasn't bothered, you know. I was just like, well, I was doing it for the sake of it, you know. But in the early days and now, yeah.
The huge gigs, Nebworth, Main Road, which had obvious huge associations for you as Manchester City's ground at that time. The sense, the power you had over that crowd and those huge crowds, were you ever frightened by that, or what,
no.
Was it just exhilaration?
I don't know. I don't get stage fright. I get excitement, which is a different thing. You read stories about people throwing up before they go on a stage. What's all that about? You know. No, they're there to see you. They want you to be brilliant. Half of them are out of their mind anyway. They wouldn't know if you were singing out of tune or playing out of time, you know, even if they watched it back on a video. No, we could play, we could do it. Once you know you can do it, it's fine. None of us in that band were Shrinking Violets. Liam wasn't a wallflower. He thought it was the greatest thing since sliced cheese. You know, I thought I was the greatest thing since, you know, freeze-dried noodle in a plastic container. And yeah, we knew we were good. And walking out on there is just like, that's it. That is it. It doesn't get any better than that. And the stadiums and all that kind of, I prefer stadiums than small gigs. Stadiums are an incredible spectacle. When I'm on a stage, I'm watching 70,000 people on a night out. And I'll tell you this, it is an unbelievable thing when all that crowd are bouncing at the same time to a song that you wrote 10, 15 years ago. It's an amazing, amazing thing.
Meeting Tony Blair at number 10. Do you regret that?
No. 1997 it was, I believe. I'd only signed off the Dole 4 years earlier, and I arrived at 10 Downing Street in a Rolls Royce. I laughed all the way there thinking, what a trip. What an absolute trip this is. The Labour Party were only too willing to reach out to the artistic community for
they were using you,
for
weren't
validation.
They
using me for what? To get into power. Great. And to bring in the minimum wage. Well, you are welcome. You know, and they were reaching out to the artistic community. Alan McGee got involved with them. And, you know, he said, they want to meet you. And I was like, and why not? You know, of course they do. Why wouldn't they want to meet me? And he said there was some do going on. And I knew I was going to cop a lot of flack for it, going there, you know. I wasn't going there thinking, you know, I'm better than anybody else, or, you know, I'm only here because I'm me. I can't help that. you know.
I'm very interested